Hi everyone, it's Sarah, No Support Workers. Today I've got Matt. Matt, it's so cool to have another podcast host as a guest. We're cracking into it.
Let's get
You
cracking.
ready? I love that. You entered the the disability sector. Why? Because it is such an interesting sector. Why did you enter it?
I entered the disability sector. I was planning in tech. That was going to be, the end of the road for me. So I studied IT and then I studied psychology. And while I was studying psychology, I was working as a support worker. So I was at uni working as a support worker. I was promoted to coordinator and I just really fell in love with the industry. And yeah, I guess sadly, towards the end of my degree in the last year, my father passed away and most of my life had revolved around supporting him. So in terms of my lived experience, it's with my dad. So yeah, childhood was quite complex, but I supported him a lot growing up. He had schizophrenia. He had a cyst on his frontal lobe, so that got bigger as he got older. And long story short, I guess, yeah, I wasn't anything new going into supporting people because I've done it my whole life. So towards, me graduating, I realized like maybe this is what I've always done and this is what I want to do. I just want to help people in this space because it's what I've done my whole entire life and I'm good at it.
So I know that you've had that lived experience, but what made you go, right, I'm going to be a support worker? Because as at uni and being male, it's not always the first job role that people think of.
Yeah. I worked at a fish pub. I loved it. I loved the people side of it. I love just chatting to people, but probably too much, I was a bit slack sometimes because of that. But I feel like I experienced the hospitality industry and I think I just wanted to change. I think I just wanted that connection. I wanted to just change into something completely different to what I've been used to. I think I went through a period in my life where I realized that, sometimes if you just let go, like things aren't always going to pan out the way that you hoped them to be, So I kind of let go of that and I was just like, look, like let's move into something different.
A lot of uni students do get into disability and that's how we kind of keep them around. But also the cool thing about being a uni student and being a support worker is that you get that hands-on experience. And I'm all for it. I'm like the biggest advocate when it comes to uni students working in the disability sector because they become great teachers. Physios, osteos, OTs, they're fantastic because they've got that skill. With
Yeah.
you went into, is it behavior support?
Yeah, I'm a positive behaviour support
Yeah.
practitioner. Yep.
Yeah. So what made you want to do it? Because it's not always as glorious as it seems.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I moved from, I was always wanting to, like throughout my degree, I wanted to become a clin psych. I wanted to keep doing psychology. And, a lot of psychology graduates throughout their masters do PBS. It's the kind of natural progression that we all go. But once I was in that role, leaving support work for me was one of the hardest things ever because I'd worked with people for like 3 years that I didn't want to say goodbye to. And going into PBS, it just kind of felt nice. I almost like didn't want to leave. I didn't really feel the need to go back and do another few years of study. I was able to go do that. And, someday I might go do that. But I really just loved the role. I loved learning all about PBS, like just specializing in certain things, writing functional behavior assessments, supporting people with disabilities from a different angle and seeing like support work was there, but I didn't really see the behind the scenes and I didn't really know like what else I could be doing. And that was like a really like a kind of a nice thing to be able to actually, improve someone's quality of life in that way.
It's kind of like you've seen every angle because you've seen the family angle, you've seen the support worker angle, and now you see the behavior support angle and how it all ties in with each other. Is it kind of like an advantage?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a good advantage. Yeah. Because I know what it's like to be a support worker. I also know what it's like to be a coordinator. I know what it's like to be a team coordinator. And the thing about PBS is, that people forget. And I tell, my staff all the time, I tell anyone that's becoming a practitioner, it's write the plan with the participant. It's got to be, I mean, we say person-centered all the time, right? But it's got to be written in an empathetic way and a clinical way. And it's got to be basically the Bible of that person. It's like, hey, even if you write in first person, hey, my name's, John Smith. Hey, this is how I communicate. This is what I like. This is how I want you to support me. Here's what's not working. Here's what's working. And then also keeping in mind, the support workers, because I know, like when I was a support worker, I didn't actually realize I could be trained in how to support that person, and supporting coordinators as well. It's like PBS is a holistic thing, and we're supporting the environment just as much as we're supporting the person. So it gives me a good understanding.
Is there anything that you had learnt from your life experience from growing up to a support work that you could really bring into your role, or little tricks that people could use?
I guess it's kind of that innate thing, as I mentioned before with my old man, it's patience. It's the understanding that not everyone is like me. People have really colorful worlds that they live in. And I want to learn all about how I can fit into that rather than them have to fit into the thing that is how I live. So I guess it's really that intangible sort of thing. Also, at the end of the day, we're all on this, planet to meet people and communicate. I was chatting to a good psychologist one time, and she gave me the analogy: if you ignore a baby, the baby dies, right? Probably not the nicest thing to say on a podcast, but we're all here to converse. We're all here to socialize. And that's what a lot of my clients are looking for. One of my clients said to me not long ago, because my role is to find out, what's working, what's not, what's your goals, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And he said, I just want friends. I just want to have Christmas with someone, and I guess that carrying that into what I do and having that on the forefront of my mind is, that's a big win in the job. That's why we're here, right? That's why we do it. So
when you create these plans, it is for the person themselves, but it's also for external stakeholders like families and support workers. How do you write it so everyone can understand what's going on? Because I'll be honest, I've read some in the past and be like, what have I feel like I've read like Peace and War, just this epic
yeah.
thing that I didn't feel like it ever ended. So I know things have changed. How do you write differently so everyone could understand what the intention and the goal is?
Yeah, they're like 107-page documents sometimes, right? Like they're really big documents, especially a comprehensive. And that's sometimes the tricky part. That's a really good thing you've noticed. Yeah, because a lot of practitioners tend to not write too empathetically. They write very clinical, very objective. So I try to write, well, I do a lot of the background section first person, as I was saying before. But you really, it's got to be, plans at the end of the day need to be something that a support worker can just pick up and understand someone. So, and importantly, the supplementary material you provide afterwards, it's like safety plans, training. It's like these are the sort of things of how to find a good practitioner if they have a clear, timeline and process with these things. Because the plan, the plan, you need to just be able to look at it and be like, oh yeah, cool, communication, all good,
You're right, because it's more than just writing a plan. You guys actually do training as well. Is there any moments when you were conducting some training with families or support workers where you delivered something and you can just feel like the whole room, like the penny drops?
Yeah. Yeah, I have actually. And funnily enough, that's when the, real questions start coming through. And that's a
Yeah.
nice feeling, I think, because a lot of times, like if I'm honest, not many people show up to training sometimes. And,
But it's
sometimes
so important. It's not
it is
so important. And if you're listening to this as a support worker on this podcast, please turn up to your training
yeah.
because it's, yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll lecture another day.
No, exactly right. No, you're bang on. Because I mean, training, practitioners, we get training, we have supervision. Training is so needed in any industry you work in. And the training sessions I hold, it's, you need an icebreaker. Sometimes I try to tell a joke. I'm not very good at like jokes. Sometimes they come out as dad jokes. but it is what it is. But we'll have a little icebreaker, and your slides are really important. PowerPoint slides, you try to keep the material down to a few dot points. Knowing the material as well, knowing what you've written generally helps. I've seen some practitioners crash and burn with with writing a plan and forgetting all about it. But yeah, having training is really important, and having training regularly as well. Some practitioners will think, we like you're ticking a compliance box essentially just with training.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's like if you provide someone with an interim behavior support plan, it's like you need training. If you're providing them with a comprehensive behavior support plan, that's a completely different kettle of fish. You need training. So yeah, just keeping that continuity.
All that training and what you create as a plan, this also comes from feedback from families, support workers, what is going on in that person's life. And can you talk a little bit about why that data that they collect is so important?
Yeah, no, it's very important. So PBS practitioners use the compendium of resources, but we send out a lot of, like quality of life questionnaires. Obviously, there's a lot of questionnaires in terms of like function of behavior, ABC charts, so antecedent, behavior, consequence, trying to get a clear picture of, what is this person trying to communicate essentially. Behavior is communication, right? So, if I'm getting angry because, say, my mum doesn't give me enough choice and control, or I have like low independence. If we're seeing these behaviors come about, say, you know, I'm told that I need to be somewhere at a certain time and I have reduced amount of independence, then what's the consequence? But it's really important because you mentioned families as well, and like working the forms are one thing, but the information you get from the family is another. A
Mm.
lot of good feedback I've had has been, wow, you actually, sit down and ask how the family's doing. Because as I mentioned before, we're not just trying to tick a box, and we're not just trying to work with just the participant. We want to find out, is the family burning out, support workers burning out? And if I don't know, if someone's listening to this on the other side of the country, or and they're trying to find a good practitioner, ask them, well, how do you work? How do you support the team, and how do you support the family? And if they can give you a clear answer, then they're the good ones, because that's, you know, we're also helping the environment.
Yes. And we want people to live at home as long as they can with their family and, have that connection and not burn that out because it can be tolling.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So how did you go from this to opening a business? Because because easy, like to do this and turn up and then from turning up and creating some, plans that really do support people to have a fullness of life, you go do that and then you open Stepper. Why? In such a turbulent market. I'm on
I
all
have
ears.
uh, I have no idea, and sometimes I doubt myself with that. But honestly, I did it because, well, for one reason, and I think a lot of people that start their own business, start their own providers, do it for the same reason, and that's because we feel like we can do slightly better, and we can improve people's lives a little bit better. I was seeing a lot of stuff in the news about fraud. I was obviously working as a practitioner with an amazing company, and they really taught me. Well, they were great for teaching me the foundational knowledge about PBS. But I tend to think that NDIS systems. I studied IT as well, and I'm quite like techie, and I feel like NDIS systems in themselves can actually work better. And also, so we have the compliance side, we have the quality of our supports, but we also have tech and systems that we can, if you bring all that into together, you can create like a really nice service for someone. And for me, I just started this because like I'm always thinking about I don't know, how I can improve the quality of our output for the people we support. So sorry, I'm getting on a tangent, but with the technology side of things, you can automate everything. And I saw that, admin costs were skyrocketing for like a number of providers I work for. You can automate a lot of admin stuff, and it streamlines, the support that you can give. You can cut admin costs in half if you just know what you're doing with IT and automation. And yeah, I guess there was that. Also just the real, I don't know, I had a really big drive to just change the image of us that work in NDIS, just from what I'd seen, I understand there's a lot of bad providers, but I also understand there's a lot of really good ones and providers that I idolize. So realizing that we're not all in competition with each other, we're all in this together.
You can collaborate. It doesn't yeah,
Collaboration. Yeah. Amazing. And,
it's
I love
easily
seeing
done.
people thrive.
I mean, here you are, I'm a podcaster, you're a podcaster, and this is called collaboration. This is us working
Exactly.
together.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly right. And, we probably met each other through other people we've collaborated with, right? Like, and on LinkedIn, it's such a good environment. I'm always getting, like information about NDIS updates and what people are doing and their processes. I've even talked to some other PBS providers in Perth, and I've had like an hour long, like just lovely conversation about like, how's things gone for you? Like, what do you do with yourself? Like, how do you do this system? How do you, what's your workflow? Just, I don't know. That side of things is lovely.
People are willing to help if you just ask. Like, that's what I think. It doesn't hurt. And what maybe they ignore you, so be it. There's always another person.
Exactly. Yeah,
So so you're in Perth?
I am.
Yep. And how much of have you grown your team? Like what's the go? Tell me. I'm all
Yeah.
ears.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So I got us registered back in October 2025. I registered the business in March. We were operational December 3rd. And what's the date today? It's the 10th of June. So in just under 6 months, we've grown to, 7 practitioners and an admin. Yeah. And it is really moving quick. And, and that doesn't come from,
Scary?
sorry,
Is it scary?
is it scary?
Because 6 months. Yeah, 6 months and was it 7 staff members?
It's so scary. I've got to be honest. It's terrifying, because it's like, I've never run a business. Like when I started this, you are just like thrown in the deep end and without floaties. It's a completely different kettle of fish. And you can know all you know about PBS, but running a PBS provider, it's a whole different thing. And I had to learn really, really quickly to keep up. But in saying that, it is running so well, and I'm really happy with our team. You meet a lot of lovely people as well, and yeah, we grew we grew just because, I guess, like word of mouth, not trying to, toot my own horn, but I guess
Yeah,
it
but
happens with
it's
yeah.
important. I think word of mouth is one of the best marketing that you can have. Very underrated at times.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's like if you're just seen, trying to do a good thing, and if it's pretty easy to spot providers that aren't the bad ones, So I guess we've just kind of grown the more we gain trust in Perth. I've flown over to the Gold Coast and I've met a lot of other providers and learned a lot from some of the bigger providers over that way. And yeah, I guess if you love something enough and the more you do it, the better it becomes. But the thing with scaling as well, I'm not always huge on talking about profit when it comes to, NDIS. There's profiting, and there's profiteering, which we see in the news a lot. But you need profit to provide a better service. You need profit to grow. A
You
big
wanna
thing for
feed your
me though,
people.
yeah,
Need
you
to
want to
eat.
feed your people. You need to eat. You need to pay your mortgage. But saying no when we're at capacity was really important for me, not just taking in every single referral and then being overwhelmed. Like, we're growing quick, but the real struggle is actually trying to keep our quality, keep our staff trained all the time, keep clear optics on everything as we grow slowly. That's it.
Important. How do you pick your stuff? Like, how do you get to them? Like, do you just put it out as a job ad, or these people that you've known for some time that you trust to come into your company?
I'm still trying to understand this one because I've chosen good so far. I'll give myself that. And a lot of people have, told me certain questions you ask, sort of ways you sort of like weed out a few answers or anything. But I guess for me, it's kind of like you just get this hunch. I'm not sure if I can't really explain it. You get this feeling when you're
It's
talking
called
to someone.
support worker. The skill set for support workers that comes out. It's like you've got this skill set. You can read people because you're like, all right, how's my day going to be?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And it's like if the conversation flows, and obviously you do ask questions. I like to, what's a question I ask? One of them would be, I'll ask, if you're, I got this from my business coach, Michael Clark, as well. He mentioned this question to me. If I call your references, and they're having a chat to them, what's one bad thing they might say? What's one thing they might say that you could improve on? And 9 times out of 10, someone's not going to answer that. But if they do, that's great. That's amazing. But what I'm looking for isn't necessarily the things that they could improve on. The thing I'm looking for is integrity. So yeah, that's a good one. But
Yeah.
most of the time I just ramble on. But
So you've gone from building. Can you? I've got a question. So
yeah,
in your time, like with your business, have you got a success story that you're allowed to share, and just bear in mind of confidentiality?
yeah, I've quite a number. One of
Oh,
them,
tell me.
one of them was actually one of my clients I've worked with for, it's coming up to 2 years now. I've worked with him. He told me he doesn't need my services anymore, and that was the biggest win because it wasn't in a, he wasn't saying it in any kind of way, or I wasn't offended by it or whatever. He just said, look, like, I'm actually really happy, and he started doing Pilates with his sister. And for anyone that's read The Body Keeps the Score, amazing book. Such a good book. Yeah, I'm not sure if you've read it, but it's all about how trauma coincides with the physiological stuff that's happening in your body. And he started doing exercise, started doing Pilates, and he would have this wicked session with his sister, and then he would tell me all about it. I'd be like, oh man, like you could teach me some things. That's so cool. And then the more he did exercise and we worked on a range of other things as well, like replacing self-soothing strategies because, a lot of time, say, drinking as a behavior or self-harm or anything like that, we see if we can work out why that is a self-soothing mechanism and what we can replace it with. And one of those turned out to be Pilates. And he came to me and just said, look, I don't really feel like I need your support anymore. And, I don't know. It was a really nice moment.
Did you celebrate the win?
I did actually. I did. I even dropped him off the book, The Body Keeps the Score. I left it in his mailbox. But yeah, absolutely celebrate the win. Yeah, you have to. You have to celebrate these little wins. Even told our team about it, and I was just like,
100%.
yes, yeah.
So as you're going along with your team, have you got any advice for support workers out there seeking support from your team, or like when it comes to BS? Like, is there any advice you could give people?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a support worker, just understand that there's so much support from the people working behind the scenes that you might not realize. Like if you ever feel, like you need certain tools to support someone in the way that they need. If you ever, feel like, oh, there's maybe a risk, but I don't know how to manage that, or I'm not sure how to present myself. PBS can support you. If there's a whole, I don't even know how to describe it. There's a whole world of things, like there's restrictive practices that we don't know about. There's there's functional behavior assessments, there's functional capacity assessments that OTs do. There's a whole stakeholder group that are here to help, and we're all designed to help implement a safe and supportive service. As like so yeah, it's all available to you. And if you're ever wanting to become a practitioner, practitioners, NDIS, the commission has sort of guidelines on this, but you can study nursing, you can study psychology, which is what I did. You can study social work. Yeah, there's a few things you can do to become a positive behavior support practitioner, and I really do encourage it because it's such a worthwhile career. So
Now, I've got to ask because I'm nosy. You've got a
absolutely.
podcast. Go on, tell me the name. I know it, but tell everybody else.
The old shameless self plug. It's NDIS
Go
in the
for it.
garden.
Ah, that's not.
Yeah. It's
Why
NDIS
the
in the
garden?
garden. I wanted something different. I wanted something peaceful, something you can sit and relax to. I think I wanted to have a podcast similar to the values that you hold in your podcast. I really love your podcast, by the way. But yeah, just
Yeah.
having chats to people and, just really relaxed. So I tend to have, my little podcast microphone out in the garden around the flowers and the bees, and I haven't been stung yet, but
Are you a good gardener?
yeah, I am. I'd like to think so anyway. Yeah.
Lucky. No, we don't want to show you my garden because everything's dead.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
They're really
my partner.
depressing.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, you should see me with a fiddle leaf fig. It's pretty tragic. But my partner studies environmental science, so I've learned a lot from her. I'm still learning, but getting there.
With your podcast, is it aimed for just people that are behavior practitioners, or is it aimed for other business owners?
Yeah, it's aimed for business owners, support coordinators, PBS, anyone allied health, all of the above, really. I just want to talk to people about, their background, their experiences in the NDIS. Sometimes it talks about politics, sometimes it talks about philosophy. Yeah, sometimes, I'll just be talking to maybe I'll be talking to a single mum who's a coordinator and she runs her own provider. And the question will be, how do you find, having two kids, being a single mum, running a provider? Like, that's incredible. So it's just talking to all the
Mm,
people that you don't usually meet.
it's a lot of fun. I'm
Yeah.
nosy. Have you got anyone that you've when you've podcast that you just absolutely enjoyed talking to? That, you got a
Well,
bit of a thrill out of it?
this is in my top 10. I love the questions. I've also taught on my
Sorry,
podcast.
I'm just really nosy. I'm incredibly nosy. I'm sorry.
Look, I mean, Sarah, maybe that's why we do it, because we're both really nosy people. But honestly, I've talked to, my favorite one was talking about ethics with Ward Sheehan. That was really good. Yeah, really good. He runs Ethical Tick, and yeah, it just kind of blew me away. Talking about, how some providers might be registered, but, registration still doesn't mean they're going to do the right thing, how to sort of
Yeah.
spot the good ones, how to spot the bad ones. Yeah, talking about a lot of that stuff, and it was actually really interesting. Had some good conversations there.
So, what do you see will happen with your company and as you grow and develop it? If you had a crystal ball, where are you 5 years from now?
Great question. Well, I would like to say that we are over east as well. That would be ideal, but the biggest thing for me would be, that we've grown. I mean, that's ideal, but also grown in a way where we're trusted by people and we're trusted by other providers. The other thing is I'm releasing an app, a fitness app.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and it's called Steppr. Lo and behold, basically, when I started a business, Steppr sounds like a sort of gym fitness thing, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna run the first NDIS gym or something like that. And I was sorely mistaken, because I realized NDIS doesn't do anything like that. It's all functional capacity and, therapy. So I figured, why not just, create a public facing app, and it has like fitness programs. So that's another division of our company, the fitness side of things, and, has meal plans and sort of motivational stuff. And yeah, something like that. So I'd like that to be a bit more developed. And look, honestly, I just hope I meet a lot of great providers, make a lot of connections with with the good ones. And I hope that we're still here. That's the main point.
I've got two questions. All right. Did you create this app because you read that book, or did you create the app because you saw a gap?
I did. Sorry, I did create it because I read that book. Great. Yeah, great pick up there. Because yeah, the I don't know, correlation between, your physiological, like exercise, how you treat your body. Our app it integrates with Apple Watch, connects with Garmin, connects with, your Apple Health and stuff like that. Tracks your water, tracks your sleep. Like, the interplay between that and your cognitive, mental health, like it's pretty significant. And I don't know, like, and the story I was telling you before about, the client that started doing Pilates, it all just kind of culminated together. And I was just like, look, I need to develop this thing. I need to get it out. And I think we might be offering it to our clients for free. I'm just still checking on that. So no one quote me on that. It, first and foremost, it will be a public facing app.
Yeah, that's exciting. When do you launch? Or is
Hopefully
it
in a
under
few
wraps?
weeks. It's done. It's
Are you
completed.
gonna let me know? I want to
Yeah,
know.
I
You
will.
better send me the link so I can see it. I'm all for celebration.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I'll send that through to you. Yeah, for sure. It's done. I'm just waiting for it to get on the App Store and, Google Play and stuff like that. So
That's awesome. Well done. It's
thank
not
you.
easy to create an app.
It's definitely
Must be
not.
that tech background of yours.
Yeah, it comes in handy. Yeah.
Look, I hope you don't mind, but So I know as we're filming this in early June, and we have a price guide coming out in the next couple of weeks. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling okay. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. You know, obviously, with the recent reforms and stuff like that, PBS wasn't too affected because it's, still functional capacity. There seems to still be a need for PBS. I'm quite concerned about what it means for, coordinators and support workers and what that's going to look like in the future. So,
Now, anyone listening to this podcast and they want to reach out to you, what is the best way to reach out to you?
yeah, absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn, Matt Sevier, so Sevier. You can also you can get in contact with us at hello@steppr.com.au. So, yeah, but LinkedIn honestly is the best way. Just connect on there and reach out and let's have a virtual coffee.
For if anyone, family members and participants, sometimes they listen to this podcast, is
Yep.
it best through the website or social media with you guys?
Yeah, through our website. So, there's a bunch of information on our practitioners, on our service, everything on our website. If you want to make a referral, that's through our website as well. Or you can just email us at hello@steppr.com.au and we'll say g'day.
Excellent. Now, is there anything that I have missed or I should have asked, or anything that any parting words?
Keep on keeping on and we'll see you around like a risol. I'm not, I'm not too sure. I think
That's a dad joke. Yeah, you weren't joking about that.
yeah. No, I think this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. It's so good to finally meet you.
Yeah, likewise.